indeed. Well, picks and bans time for game number 2, Afreeca versus CJ. Now they banned out the Kalista from themselves last game, which I don't think was the greatest idea. The Ezreal didn't work out.
Didn't want to give it away as a first pick, I guess. As you mentioned, took away the blue Ezreal as a pick and didn't do much with it. So we're expecting differences, but one thing stays the same. After that Longzhu series, it's going to be a while till Mad Life gets the bar.
CJ might be thinking about leaving Zed open here. They banned the Zed first last game and the Ryze second. This time going for the Ryze first. Same first ban from Afreeca. Are they going to ban the TF as well?
I think it's a risk. I feel like if Sky loses Lulu, he defaults to TF, and I don't think you want to give Mickey Zed into that TF, so...
Yeah, you didn't seem to think Sky's TF was that great, though.
I mean, Sky's just not that great, though. Like, I don't like just pointing at people being like, you're not very good, but he's definitely bottom 2 in mid laners. I think probably bottom of the mid lane pool. Lulu obviously is a utility champion. He actually played very well last game, so he deserves some props. And Untara showed that he has a carry side to him, so smart from Afreeca to ban the one champion with the potential to carry that Untara's shown something on.
True. I think CJ is smart to ban away that Kalista from Songyun. We mentioned earlier that Songyun's only wins this season have been on Kalista.
Game 1 did not change that.
Nope. Alistar ban. That's probably a good idea, too. Mad Life would almost certainly pick it.
So what does Afreeca want to take with the first pick? When you're banning Alistar, it says you don't want to first pick Alistar, which has of course been one of the safest first picks.
They might first pick Thresh. It looks like they're targeting Mad Life, but if they don't first pick Thresh here, then what's the point of banning Bard Alistar, right?
Well, Lulu is up. And giving Sky Lulu would give a sense of comfort to the problem mid laner on the side of CJ Entus, but Afreeca's in that awkward spot where they could give 2 very powerful champions over on the red side. No junglers banned, so...
And GP's still available too again. Now, but I mean...
I don't think you take GP if you're Afreeca. Ixu didn't show that it's really in his wheelhouse, and you don't want Mickey on a passive laning mid lane champion.
Why would you ban away both of Mad Life's other champions and not take away Thresh?
I mean, Snowflower is a good Alistar, so why are you banning Alistar on the blue side? You do get access to Corki, who Mickey has shown some prowess on, so I don't mind that.
I mean, CJ can just still take Thresh. I suppose, does it put a little bit of pressure on CJ to take Thresh in that first rotation, though?
It does to some degree, but... I mean, if you can get Mad Life onto a non-engaged champion, you feel great, but...
Yeah, you gotta take that Thresh.
Thresh great, he's bubbling again. Look, he wasn't a superstar last game, but he wasn't a problem. Just like Sky, right? Both Bubbling and Sky have kind of been headaches in most of the CJ losses, so keep them on comfort. If you can get Lulu in the next round as well, CJ can recreate most of the comp that they just won with.
Yeah.
Only Fiora is the adaptation ban. It means that Untara probably doesn't have a top lane carry, but after getting frisky on the Fiora, maybe there'll be a gangplank top from a CJ perspective.
I'm still a little bit surprised about the first pick focus on the Corki here.
I mean, Corki's so strong. He's a flex pick.
He's good, but you'd think they could have just banned out the Lulu or the Graves and then first pick the Alistar for Snowflower.
This is a point. I can't really dissect why we saw 2 blue side support bans.
Yeah.
It's a bit curious. We'll see where Afreeca goes with the draft. There is, of course, the chance that Songyun will take Corki into the bottom lane, but the Lucian lock-in definitely means no ambiguity about where the Corki's going.
Yep, and the Elise grabbed for Lyra. Lyra and Bubbling, I believe Elise is both their most played jungler going into today. Now we've seen Fly play some Zilean on KT, but we have not seen Sky play the Zilean yet.
Zilean Poppy would be a really big duo to be locked in. That's the one that's been going around the world. It started with Energy Pacemaker over in China, and then we saw GBM and friends do that.
I like that.
In North America, as you said, KT pulled it off well as well. Poppy's available. I believe he was banned last game, so...
Poppy was not banned last game, just kind of fell through, yeah.
Crazy on 6.2, where there hasn't been massive nerfs, but a couple of love taps in the way of Poppy.
Yep. Yeah, Zed, the pick going through for CJ that wasn't banned last time.
I mean, CJ either blind pick Victor or they choose top lane here, so it looks like they want to actually keep a top lane counter pick, potentially the gangplank for Untara. This draft is really shaping up for a last pick gangplank.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to grab the Ezreal along with this Victor, looks like. Yeah. All right, well, CJ looking like they're going to go for the late game here.
Yep, does look like they're opting to late game. They got very strong wave clear from the Victor. Will be a risk to some degree. Ezreal's not lane dominant, but Kramer obviously a wonderful blue Ezreal player. Yeah. 2-1, 13 KDA. on that Ezreal. Where do Afreeca go with their last pick? Reworked Shen?
It'd be cool to see the new Shen.
WTF new Shen?
WTF new Shen, yeah. That's perfect. It'd be neat.
I don't think he's very good, though.
Well, we'll see what Snowflower thinks.
Well,
I guess he thinks the same thing.
There's no ambiguity here. They're picking for top.
Yeah, and Brom's a good pick against Ezreal, of course.
Ability to just cancel all that ultimate damage if you're on point. Makes it a very powerful pick, as you mentioned.
It's a lot of damage in general.
You already have Illusion as a very strong laning partner. Of course, you really get those concussive blows stacks. Concussive bros. Well, I mean, Lucian and Brom are basically concussive bros because
they are. They're always the bot lane duo, man.
Well, the passive stacks stack up the concussive blows. So
that's true.
It's very, very powerful as a laning champion.
They're a duo made to make that passive work well. I think we can call that duo the concussive bros.
And look, Gangplank, Poppy, I think both of them are fine choices on the side of CJ Entus. Ventara, it feels like Poppy maybe falls into the wheelhouse a little bit more. Although he just impressed us in Fiora, so anything's possible. The thing about Poppy is that Poppy has more lane presence than Gangplank, and you already have an Ezreal who could potentially really just be stacking up a tier, so it's lower risk to go for the Poppy.
I think if you've got a Poppy running amok in the enemy team, suddenly Sky and Kramer are much, much more free, bubbling as well, you know, to do all the damage. I love the Poppy here. And
we're still on patch 6.2, where if you instant channel the ultimate, it's a 1.5 second knockup.
Yeah.
For context, Alistar has a 1 second knockup. Only Malphite's ultimate is a 1.5 second knockup. So basically a Malphite ult in melee range with the charge, you basically charge in there. It's basically Alistar or Malphite all over again. And yeah, I like the Poppy. I think it's the safer choice from CJ Entus.
Sure.
They have damage coming out of the jungle. They have good damage across the run. And we know what Kramer and Madlife can do on Ezreal Thresh. This is very much a staple of 2016 CJ Entus.
Yeah. Well, I've got a feeling the gold lead may not be as high at 15 minutes for CJ this time.
Well, it was a once in a lifetime, apparently, last game. So Afreeca have the Corki for lane pressure in mid. In general, they have good wave clear in every lane. Afreeca, is this the sort of game where Afreeca could maybe run away with it? Because they do have good laning matchups, especially early in every lane. But if you fall behind at all, if this Poppy gets some items uninterrupted, could be some headaches in the late game dealing with Poppy for Afreeca.
Yeah. Well, so far every match that CJ has won has been a 2-1 victory. So historically speaking this season, this game should be a win for Afreeca Freecs. Well, we'll see. CJ, I think, better positioned now in this matchup to get the 2-0 than they really ever have been before this season.
It was already Bizarro Day with CJ Entus really running away with the early game in Game 1, so who knows what happens when CJ dominate the early game.
Yep. CJ dominates the early game.
Words said, unironically.
I know. That dominating CJ early game, that's something I didn't think I'd be saying today.
One day it'll come back.
Maybe. Was it ever really here?
No, that's fair.
Yeah. I think about Blaze and Frost back in the day. Was it ever really here?
Maybe in top lane.
Well, I mean, Flame just likes to sit around, man. Let's see if Afreeca can tie things up, guys. It's time to get in the game. The world is all CJ's right now as they come into this match with a dominating Game 1 performance. Afreeca, their stream viewers out in force tonight, Kappa.
Everyone's out in force, maybe with one eye towards our next series. Of course, guys, stick around after this. KT Rolster versus SK Telecom will be our final series of our short week here, only two match days because of the Lunar New Year break.
Yep, that's right. Ushering in the year of the monkey with a bit of relaxation and a great match to finish things out in a new chapter in the Telecom War. I see Nagne sitting in the front row in the audience here, ready to watch his former team try to take out SKT. And, you know, again, we talked about this before. It's probably going to be one of the closer SKT-KT matches we've seen in years, potentially.
I'm hoping it's a 3-game nail-biter. It means a long night, but it means an exciting one, because both those teams, when they turn it on, and okay, we haven't seen SKT turn it on very much in 2016, but we know that their ceiling is world champions, so anything is possible in the next series, and honestly, anything's possible here, because the CJ playbook was thrown out the window last game, and maybe we'll see another active early game, specifically from Bubbling, who look pretty comfortable on the Graves.
Maybe. I love that Mad Life just always takes Thunderlords. He's like, you know what? I can do more damage with this.
Bond of Stone doesn't actually kill the enemy, so...
That's right, so it's useless. I agree.
A lot of supports have been moving over to Strength of the Ages. That's been a very popular mastery for jungle and support. Everyone likes getting basically a free Giant's belt, but turns out the Thunderlords kills people better, so...
It's true.
Go with that.
It's true. I still find myself defaulting to Nami a lot when I play in solo queue, just because so much of playing support is just keeping your AD carry alive, you know?
It's not very bloodthirsty, though.
No. Well, the thing is, if you're playing low elo, what you do is you just play safe, keep your carry healthy, and then you wait for your opponents to make mistakes.
Well.
Nikki, speaking of mistakes, may have to burn a summoner. Here's Mad Life coming in. There's the flash. Mad Life with the flash flame. Mickey in a lot of trouble. Can they get the kill? They can. And Sky's going to claim first blood, but Mad Life making the plays already here in game 2.
Speaking of solo queue, what was Mickey doing so far overextended with no wards on the top side of the map after a lane swap was initiated?
I'll tell you, he was trying to be Faker.
By CJ Entus. Well,
he pretty much was. He was overextended early on in lane, got killed, yeah.
I've seen many people try to be Faker both on the competitive scene and in solo queue, and sometimes you pay for it.
You do. You do.
That was just really desperately poor from Mickey, who in the previous game was on Victor, was wave clearing. I don't think we can level too much criticism on him, but you think of the time he died in lane last game, it was a really impressive outplay from Mad Life to get the play and get the kill. This time it was just a pure mistake from Mickey.
Yeah, it was pretty elementary for just Mad Life to walk up and flash play, and that's about it. Yeah.
All she wrote. So now it's going to be the mirrored turret takings, but the big bonus in the pockets of CJ Entus.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sky getting that first blood gold is, great. Able to come back with that second Doran's ring. Question is, where does Victor put those rings? Do they go on his, robot hand, or does he actually put them on his regular hands? I'd put them on my robot hand,
Yeah. How many rings can you bear on a robot hand? Probably about 6, I guess?
Well, I mean, 5 if you have one for each finger.
I was just thinking about how many rings you could buy. It's just 6.
You can buy more than, well, I guess you can't stack rings, yeah.
Oh, you can stack rings, you just only have 6 slots, though.
That's coming. Maybe someday you'll be able to stack Doran's items.
You were actually correct the first, because of course he's got a hex core, so he can only stack 5.
Oh, yeah, you're right. See, that's what I meant.
Law appropriate. Thanks, Rito.
That's what I meant. I knew it all along.
Why do I have a question, Edo? You're always right.
I don't know. You shouldn't.
Note taken.
Yeah.
Well, CJ take the Rift Herald, and Afreeca do the smart thing. Whenever you see the Rift Herald go down, you're like, okay, I guess it's a free dragon.
Yep, might as well. And Afreeca did get the first 3 dragons last game. CJ was able to still push back and win that one. But that was standard lane, so this is a lane swap, so we're going to see a very different, probably much longer game this time around.
It's one of those games where the lane swap's not called. Again, it's mostly pure luck as to where the lane swap goes in. Some teams can be really aggressive. If you have a Nidalee, for example, you can just pounce over the pit and put down a deep ward at 40 seconds. Maybe you get some information, but without a Nidalee who can just, jump over walls at level 1, very difficult to get enough deep vision in to actually get an informed lane swap, so you just kind of take what comes.
Pretty much.
Well, it's not ambition, but it's Graves on an invasion, and Thresh as well.
Oh, and we may have a bit of a dive here.
Really overextended.
Yeah, Ixu could be in trouble using that E. Mad Life ready. Oh, he misses the flay, though. Oh. A rare skill shot miss from Mad Life. They still get the flash, so mission accomplished. I'd still call that a win.
And it definitely wasn't going to be a turret dive. There's no turret to dive. It looked like
I suppose it's true.
It was a gimme kill, but as you mentioned, very, very rare misplay from Mad Life, who had his boots of roaming super early after the successful gank.
Yep. Oh, well, we'll forgive him.
Will we, though?
He got a summoner. It wasn't a loss. It was still a win. It just wasn't as big of a win as it could have been.
It's actually a really nice pink ward pushed up into the red side jungle of CJ Entus. So Mad Life smart to take the longest route possible to bot lane.
I mean, pretty decent CS leads in top and ADC position for CJ already. So that part of the lane swap has worked out well.
You have to remember it's tier Ezreal. It's not in a lane swap situation, so it doesn't have the effective stats to deal with the hammer coming through from Lucian. I want to say it's Caulfield's hammer. That sounds right.
Yeah, Caulfield's hammer. Yeah.
Serrated Dirk and Caulfield's hammer.
Yep.
When will we see our first Raptor cloak into Zarot portal? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean,
we probably
it'll probably be in some sort of Rocks Tigers game, I would think.
So we're on air, but we should discuss this anyway. Zerat Portal or ZZ-Rot Portal?
Zerat Portal.
Because I heard ZZ-Rot Portal on the
well,
LCS broadcast. And
that's
Zerat
just
sounds
too
much better.
That's just too awkward to say.
Okay.
It should be Zerat Portal.
So we're sticking with Zerat Portal.
Zerat's Portal, yeah.
And Spray and Pray, not Rat-a-tat.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. You even have to ask.
Just making sure.
This is League of Legends champions, man.
Well, Afreeca have been set up around this blue buff for spawn for a long time. They're going to start it.
Wow, they really...
they're going to get it.
I mean, yeah, they got the blue buff, but, man, that was a lot of time spent waiting there.
Afreeca's credit, they had a pink ward on both blue buffs, so blue buff steal at least is a little bit less lane control. You need that blue buff to be able to spam those waves down, especially since Sky hasn't had time to get the Hex Core upgrade yet, so still doesn't have instant wave clear at level 7.
Yeah, the extra Doran's ring probably helps out a bit at least.
The Aftershock is how you clear this wave instantly at level 7, so it has to actually auto-attack things. Really tough life for Victor without the Hex Core upgrade.
I know. I know what having to auto-attack things is like sometimes.
You know all about Victor. 5 rings maximum.
That's right.
Auto-attacking. Completely on the ball.
That's right. It's the Lord of the Rings right now. He's got all of them on CJ.
You know not to talk about Lord of the Rings with me, Dilla.
Yeah, I know. Guys, Papa Smithy still hasn't seen Lord of the Rings.
That's not true. I saw the first movie.
Yeah. What's it called?
Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay, at least you got that.
Is the second one the 2 Towers? Or is that the third one?
That's the second one. Just stop. Just stop.
Third one, I don't know. I watched the first one. I got bored. I played Snake on my phone.
That is one of the saddest couple sentences I've ever heard in my life.
I know. I watched the first one. That was my mistake.
Oh. I don't know what to say, man. I mean,
look, I like
really good.
I like my fantasy Game of Thrones style. You can decide what that means.
Okay. Are you sure you want that?
Whatever it is, man.
All right.
Accept all permutations.
Okay.
Speaking of permutations, CJ's still ahead pre-15 minutes, so that's still surprising.
Yeah, but they've got 6 minutes to fall behind. They
That's
can do
true.
it. I believe in them.
Bubbling's walking through wards. It's a possibility.
That's true. CJ has managed to clean out most of the wards anyway. Uh-oh, TP coming in for Afreeca Freecs. They're going to go ahead and send Ixu up there.
That is a really long walk.
Yeah, it is. Madlife gets the grab on the Snowflower. CJ backing away. They're going to try to go in onto Ixu. Slammed against the wall. There's Ixu ulting himself. Untara looking in trouble. There's a kill for Ixu. Snowflower comes in. They're going to try to grab Bubbling as well. Mickey piling on the damage. Songin with that one. And hey, that's a teleport play that worked out pretty well.
Even though it looked like an optimistic teleport, the big thing was that Mickey rotated first and Victor was slow to rotate, had only just shopped, bought double Hexcore upgrades, but wasn't in position to relieve any pressure. So good teleport from Ixu, good play call from Anarchy, and they pick up the 2 kills.
Yeah. Not enough vision for Sky to push that lane at all either. He's going to have to back away. At least it did get him the blue buff.
The kills go on to Ixu, one of them at least. Helps with his Rod of Ages timing, and Lucian gets ahead. So Kramer, I mean, it's going to be the story, right? This is going to be a bit more of the old school CJ Entus, because Kramer's not on lane dominant, so get in those 6 items and then get him fighting. That's been how they've played Blue Ezreal previously.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long one, but CJ has proven time and time again that they are really good at playing this kind of comp in the late game.
But the fun thing is that CJ Entus was always a good team at late game team fighting, but you change all the cattle and still pretty impressive.
Yeah. Almost all the cattle. The cattle?
Yeah, the cattle on the field. They're plowing the Summoner's Rift for wins.
All right. There should be cooler animals, though, than just regular cows. They could be at least bison.
Well, there's no Alice to this game, so...
Yeah, but he's the actual cow. That would be when it's more appropriate to be a cow.
Yeah, Minotaur.
Yeah, but, well, Minotaurs are like cow people, though. They're not bison people.
Cowish.
Well, anthropomorphic cow people, yeah.
Okay.
Afreeca Freecs going for their second dragon.
Well, this is very reminiscent of the previous game. Dragon control was what Afreeca had. They rushed down 3 very, very early. In fact, they're even ahead of that clip. They should have their 3rd if they take it on spawn in 17 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, CJ might have to get a little bit worried here, as they might not be able to save this mid lane turret.
That Corki.
Maybe they can. There we go.
That Corki and Lucian have free time. They will power it down, even with a Lucian to clear waves. So CJ sends some backup.
And Untara's pretty far behind Ixu as well.
They're trying to punish Kramer free farming up his Iceborne Gauntlet and Tia. This is a good move from Afreeca. They have to use an ult. They're just trying to dissuade as many waves as possible so this turret doesn't go down pre-15 minutes.
Yeah, losing that mid lane turret would be pretty awful for CJ at this point.
But Kramer's not fight ready. I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but this is Afreeca actually playing at extra level. They understand, okay, CJ need to have this freeze in bottom, just given the build path.
Oh, here they go over the wall. They're going to try to make a play here, but it's 3v3, and Madlife grabs Snowflower. There's the flay. Gravity Field not catching anyone. They had Lyra coming down, so CJ smart not to engage. Ixu could come over the wall for a dive here. Madlife knows what's up.
Spot it out. Kramer has ult again. He shoots it out. Will this be the turret?
Wow, flash W onto Bubbling. They're going to ult him too. Easy kill for Ixu. Grabs that one. I guess Songyun ended up getting the kill. They get the turret. Turret's traded for both of these guys. Both of these teams, rather.
Yeah, but the mid lane turret, that's the one you want to get down. Victor losing his mid lane turret at 12 minutes. You almost never see smart rotation from Afreeca. Even though it's a traded kill, it is an objective win from an Afreeca perspective.
Yep. He's like, I don't want the blue buff after all.
Yeah, leashing, trolled out Kramer there.
Yep.
Too defensive in his positioning, but didn't have wards, so probably not the worst idea to not get blown up by someone. And, well, I think CJ's looking for 35-minute team fights.
Leashing kind of sounds like if Sean Connery was trying to say Lee Sin.
Leashing.
Leashing is my favorite Chunkle champion. Junior, leash the blue buff for me, please.
I don't think he's ever going to make another movie. Makes me sad.
Said he didn't want to, so.
I know, but what an icon of the film industry.
No kidding.
Going out on that movie as well. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, well, it was ambitious at least. Madlife. Oh, minion. Well, it's Flash Flay. Ixu makes it out on the E anyway.
Just a death sentence. No flash needed.
Oh yeah, I suppose he did use the Q to go in.
Yeah, it was the flying part of the death sentence and then Eid, rather than a flash. I can see how it looked like that to you. As
oh, thank you. I'm glad you can see that.
Actually, no, I can't see it, though. How could you do that, you professional caster?
Well, I was paying attention to the life and times of Sean Connery. And you just expect Madlife to flash whenever he engages, too.
That's fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, the Rift Herald wasn't contested. Hilariously, the previous game where CJ Entus ran the early game was won because Rift Herald was contested and they got 4 kills.
Yeah,
that's just bizarro world in every way possible.
I don't think Africa Freaks wants to do that this time.
I don't think we'll ever see the world align in quite that way, even if there's a couple of meta changes. I don't think we're going to see CJ Entus run the early game and then contest a Rift Herald to win the game ever again.
Probably not.
Freecs really pushing and aggressive into the inner turret. They need to send someone here, CJ. They're going to lose it. These turrets are still pretty paper thin at 14 minutes.
Oh, bam. Goodbye.
It's only one,
not enough, though, yeah.
It's super low. They're going to get it.
Yep.
There's a lot of people coming from CJ. They need to be careful, though.
Oh, yeah. Untara gets jumped on immediately, though. Nearly eats a full culling. There's a TP coming in. Mickey drops a package in a great place. Bubbling. Gone. Sky destroyed, too. Double kill for Mickey, and this game is all Afreeca so far.
CJ Entus showed so little awareness. They thought they could just slowly saunter one by one to the 3-man group from Afreeca. Afreeca are already winning this game. A lot of the power spikes are much earlier. And look at Mickey, finally found some room for aggression, and did he ever show it?
Nice block by Snowflower. That's why you picked the Braum. Might have been able to get the kill onto Ixu if Braum hadn't been there.
Concussive bros.
Concussive bros. Yeah, but it's just not looking good for CJ right now.
No, they are monstrously far behind, more so than the 4,000 gold really reflects it. They have no lane pressure. It took CJ 25 to 30 minutes to achieve this onto Afreeca last game, and 15 minutes in, never count out Blue Ezreal, CJ Entus. They've been in this position many times this season, but definitely back to tight. 4,000 gold behind around 15 minutes. Yep, CJ Entus for sure.
Yeah.
The ringers are gone from last game, Doa. This is the real CJ Entus squad.
Yeah, but this is a pretty big deficit, even for what CJ's come back against.
All I can say is if they have their inhibitor turrets in 20 minutes and Ezreal has 4 items, anything is possible.
Yeah, we'll see. Kramer did go for the Iceborne Gauntlet early on, so he's got that kiting power that Songyun didn't have last game. At this point, anyway.
Afreeca are being really aggressive and decisive. They're going for another kill.
Yep. Well, Madlife gets Kramer out, no problem though.
Remember, Victor wave clear in mid is good. Okay, Lissandra has a wave clear advantage over Poppy, but Poppy's tanky enough and has decent wave clear in melee range that she's doing just fine. And in the bot lane, it's just going to be Ezreal ulting down waves if there's enough attention. So there is a world where CJ can start to turtle out. I don't think they're going to be picking up too many dragons, and I guess that's the issue.
Bubbling, eating a lot of damage from that culling.
Everyone throws out a skill shot, but not quite enough.
Yeah, it was really close. If he would have been caught by that cocoon, obviously, he would have been pretty dead.
All CJ needs to make happen on the map is to keep up their inhibitor turret and somehow stop the 5-dragon stack from being online around 30 minutes. If they can pick up one dragon, whether it's an opportunistic steal from Kramer or a contest, they're in tip-top shape, or at least decent shape.
Oh, they're not going to get this one.
No. Being rushed down. There's a steal attempt, though. Wow, they actually delayed that quite a lot, but still does go down. 3 at 17 minutes means theoretically we're talking 29-minute 5th dragon stack.
Yeah. Could be quick.
And that's the big worry for CJ. They could turtle out everything else.
Sky, nice. Gets the lantern right out. Doesn't get hit by the Q, gets slowed. Good vision by Afreeca too, but they were, even when they were Team Anarchy, they were always one of the better bad teams at warding.
No, they was one of the better teams at warding, actually, but yes, they were a bad team.
Better of one of the worst teams at warding.
Sure. They were top of the bottom.
Yeah. Well, they were actually better at warding than some of the top teams. They just didn't really know what to do with the vision. It seemed like them an Incredible Miracle last season. Put down a lot of wards, but never really used the information they got to effectively.
I mean, if there was a binary command for Team Anarchy last season was, are we ahead? If so, put down pink wards and have Mickey kill people.
Right.
And if that didn't work, they had nothing.
It's working okay now.
Mickey definitely on a different school of champion. Sadly, the meta not quite in his wheelhouse. Maybe with the new item on 6.3, we'll see things change. But for now, showed some great aggression on that Corki when they fought in the enemy red side jungle, though, so that was cool to see.
Yep.
It's just, again, how many items can Kramer farm up before they're forced to group and fight? The answer is, well, they're probably going to be forced at 29 minutes, so he's got 10 minutes to pile on as much Ezreal farm as he can.
That's a lot of time.
It is, but are Afreeca going to be decisive enough to try a 20-minute Baron? Because honestly, there's a world where this team, CJ, is trying to freeze deep, and a free Baron might actually be on the offering around 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Expect some warding around there. Mad Life's going to have to be very careful because it's double AD and Elise, so there is actually a lot of Baron threat from Afreeca.
CJ's taken a lot of their vision back in their own jungle over the last minute or two. And yeah, the longer this game goes on, the more CJ's going to have a pretty strong team fight, it seems like, which is exactly what they want.
I mean, it's not like Africa's is objectively worse, it's just not quite up to the standard of Blue Ezreal in particular, and Poppy is the goalkeeper that Lissandra can be situationally in a burst sense, but not really over the course of a fight. She can't occupy the backline for as long as Poppy can. So you definitely favor CJ in the late game, but if they're 15,000 gold behind, if they're a Baron behind, that small advantage kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, CJ can blow people up on Afreeca pretty quick if they get the opportunity later. It once again just kind of depends on Mad Life, it seems like.
Well, CJ way.
Oh, there we go. Speaking of Mad Life making plays, Lyra gets out. Oh, collateral damage blocked by Snowflower. Great E to make sure Lyra stayed alive. That certainly would have been a kill.
Gotta say, Snowflower's really vindicating the Braum pick. He's usually been thought of as mostly his Thresh mechanics. You know, Thresh is the champion he consistently picks up MVPs on, but the Braum's been right up there.
Yeah, he's blocked exactly what he needs to block.
To be fair, there's a lot to block if you think about it. Graves ultimate, Graves Q, Victor E, and of course Ezreal.
True.
His abilities.
It's really raining outside right now. A lot.
Not sure if it's coming through on the broadcast, but yeah, definitely coming down hard.
I'm hearing it.
So you're gonna have to stay inside and watch video games, and man, we got some good ones, both now and coming up soon.
Yeah. Oh, Korean Lissandra.
She's always got something to complain about.
I think she's just always got something going on.
Okay, I'll
with her internal organs.
She's always got something to exclaim about.
Nobody who's feeling well makes that kind of sound.
That's true. If you sound like Korean Lissandra, please do consult a doctor.
That's right. Maybe pop a Tums or something. Something's wrong with your stomach, I'm pretty sure.
Well, there's 2 items on to Kramer. It doesn't quite have Muramana though, so Still not looking to team fight.
Well, ult onto Bubbling. Nice cocoon. And Bubbling trying to flash away. I don't think he's going to make it, though. Yeah, Lyra tanking that turret well enough. Here comes Untara, though. CJ strikes. They pick up their own kill onto Snowflower.
Should be 4th Dragon coming up soon in a couple minutes, but now Afreeca just going to take this mid lane turret. This important breaking another crucial turret now. It's going to be harder and harder.
Uh-oh, Sky could be in trouble here. Takes a lot of damage, drops that gravity field, takes a ride out on the Lantern. Meanwhile, CJ having to back off. Mickey over the wall, gets exhausted right away. Two-shot barrage does a bit. Sky comes in, or actually takes out Mickey is coming in. Now Untara from the side, and this is such good timing. Untara comes in, there's a knock-up on Ixu, slowed down. Mad Life misses a flay, but it doesn't matter because Sky's there with the kill. And I think that dragon is going to be coming up very soon, and if CJ takes that, that's a big problem for Afreeca Freecs.
I'm shaking my head, Doa. Mickey went over the wall with no vision into 3 people, eventually died, didn't even get a trade kill from it, and then Untara comes in, Poppy excels, fighting in this choke points where there's walls aplenty, so much CC through the ult and the E. CJ gonna get a lot, and Afreeca basically donate over map pressure to CJ Entus.
3 kills and a mid lane turret for CJ. We'll see what else they can maybe take off of this.
But it was all so easy for Afreeca to just back away. They had so much pressure. Look, all this is great from Afreeca. Everything's fine. They smell blood, and what is Mickey doing? Flashing in, exhaust is up. There's 3 members there. Takes free damage, looks for the 1-for-1, can't even get that. If he doesn't die there, the Untara flank doesn't count for anything because they're kiting back as a 4-man group, not as everyone running like headless chickens away. And man, gold, experience, and map pressure donated, you'd have to say, by Mickey to Afreeca.
Yeah, CJ wants to fight this dragon now, too. The ults are up for the most part.
Done, QSS is done. They're ready to fight.
Yeah, they are. No ult for Untara at the moment. Taken by Afreeca Freecs. Untara goes in. CJ, though, not really finding the angle to make a fight out of this.
They don't have teleport in Untara, so they couldn't go for a flank. Poppy running straight at you certainly isn't quite the same as when she has a flanking option. So 4th Dragon means that 29:50-ish we will be seeing pre-30-minute 5th Dragon stack. CJ going to be forced to fight, but you mentioned it. They're starting to get the items that they'll take that invitation.
Yeah, they're going to get a turret off of this too, it looks like.
A lot of turret damage. Have to take it up now.
Okay, deciding not to do it. Ixu's going to trade one, or take one rather, the tier 2.
Ixu still has teleport, so what he's able to do, pushing with the Lissandra.
Yeah, they're pushing that TP advantage, which is pretty good. But Sky is 4-1-1 now on that Victor. Kramer 1-0-1, so meh, but he's getting really, really strong.
That's right. 20 powers on, looks like the Blade, I would imagine. I guess there's an outside chance of it being the Mercurial Scimitar as well, I guess, is an option, given it builds out of the Vamp Scepter and the QSS now, but yeah, 20 hit 3-4 items. The fact that some of your core items are quite cheap and the utility has really get going as Blue Ezreal. This team is very practiced in playing around as well. Okay, there's no Lulu to really give him mobility to the nth degree, but Ezreal doesn't need too much invitation to really bounce around a team fight and impact it.
Yeah.
Jay is clearing out these double pinks. For some reason that rush was double pinked.
Just because it makes them take even longer to clear it.
We'll have to see how different a game this is, where Afreeca still has that outer turret up because Mickey didn't play that suicidal play around the base gate, we'd have to say, of CJ.
Oh, Sky needs to take that Lantern to safety. Teleport coming in for Ixu. Are they going to be able to get anything out of this?
Nope.
Doesn't look that way.
At position on mid, though. Only Poppy is in position to stop. Doesn't have really any wave clear. CJ have to come out of position to relieve pressure, and this must be a forced fight for Mannequin.
Yeah, they've got the ward in that brush.
Poppy's completely separated. She's the goalkeeper, remember. There's a lot of squishy members on CJ, so they need Poppy to rotate in around if they're even hoping for a 5v5 fight.
Right. I think CJ feels a little bit more confident about fighting now. Won the last one handily. Shabraz just checking. Wow, Snowflower is so fast on those shields.
Back to wave clear. Okay, back in position. Poppy split push, and now they have the teleport advantage.
You know, the big thing too is that Afreeca Freecs could get that 5th dragon, so the fact that CJ wasn't able to take that one really hurts.
Yep, it's a must contest every 6 minutes from 29:50 onwards, so it's going to be difficult, honestly. strength of dragon stacking when it was introduced is that it forces those fights so regularly. Finally, the Krug gets bored.
Gromp.
The Gromp gets bored.
Come on, man. Don't you know the difference between your Gromps and your Krugs?
No, apparently not. I got to take it on the chin.
Figure it out.
I got it wrong. Rift Herald, Rift Scuttler.
Rift something.
Summoner's Rift.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Rift Herald not making any sense for the name of that monster. It's not really heralding anything.
I mean, in a couple of different ways, Rift Herald doesn't really make too much sense, but just waiting for CJ. I guess CJ's waiting for 5th Dragon, which is kind of ominous, really. 'Cause one mistake, if he ever gets some pink wards. Crucially, Afreeca doesn't have a lot of exclusive vision around the 5th Dragon, and actually, a lot of control coming over onto this Baron this time.
Okay, yeah, CJ sees it right away, though.
Well,
where's the response? I think Afreeca might have this one. Yeah, they do, and they should be able to disengage. Yeah, TP canceled by Untara.
Really nice decisive play from Afreeca. This is what they could do in fits and spurts last year as Anarchy. They do it here. That was a sort of situation where CJ would have been gun shy at pulling the trigger, just like they were last game.
Well, they're ready
Afreeca instantly take it, and they'll still have the buff when 5th Dragon spawns.
Yeah, it'll be pretty soon, maybe about a minute or so away.
Minute 20, I think it's about 29:40-ish. So I was trying to watch it pretty closely because, as you guys can see, we do not have the timers right now.
Yeah.
Should be 6.3 next week, so a bit of a shake-up.
Yeah, I mean, CJ is just like destined to lose this game, though. You know, they can only win matches 2-1. So we already knew the way this one was going to go.
Yeah, but you can't put too much faith in those stats, though. That's like saying that SKT's done because it's an even year.
Nope, I think we've got a big enough sample size. We've got, what, 5 matches now? So yeah, easily big enough.
We've got years of SKT failing in even years.
Oh.
About 2 months, well, sorry, about 2 weeks of 2012 and 2014.
Gromp did not want to die.
Gromp in general has been... That Gromp, I gotta say, Red Side Gromp has been on a terror.
Goodbye, Gromp. You fought well.
He will be missed. Well, CJ just needs to fight in about a minute. Kramer's got 3 items. There's a fight that CJ wins, it's just when they don't have any map pressure, when they don't have any pinks, how do they actually engineer this fight?
Yeah, they don't have any vision near Dragon, so they'd have to kind of come in blind.
Well,
funny enough, the fact that Afreeca seems to be prioritizing on getting ready for this 5th Dragon so hard means they haven't really done a lot with this Baron buff, too.
But Afreeca have so many different options.
Now they're thinking about it.
I mean, just take into account the fact that CJ need to fight at this Dragon, and Untara doesn't have teleport. That's another problem they have. Yeah. Has to start walking down now. Lissandra's going to get at least inhibitor turret damage.
Uh-oh. Gotta be careful.
I mean, those blue trinkets, they're going to run out. They're going to have to start face checking.
Or lantern checking.
Ixu should teleport soon. He knows that CJ have to fight, so...
Well, he's going to try to do as much damage to that top turret. In fact, he's going to be able to get it.
Well...
Yeah, he's got it.
CJ
all right, Dragon's up. Yeah, the Dragon has to be the priority, even over that inhibitor. Getting a little bit lower. Is Afreeca going to grab it? Thinking about it, TP coming in right now. Whoa, goodbye, Elise. Right on top of Bubbling, though. Ixu in the back lines forces Untara away. Madlife drops the box, but the damage is coming in. So much for Afreeca Freecs. Dragon's still alive, but Afreeca doesn't need it to win this team fight. They may not even need that 5th Dragon to close out this game.
They're still riding the Baron buff for about another 15 seconds. They've broken the base in one spot. They can probably finish it. Look at those death timers, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Should be game, and Afreeca,
well,
big step up from game 1.
What do? I mean, if you're CJ, you have to fight around that Dragon. Really no choice. Lyra's just getting the Dragon anyway. I don't know why they're not just ending the game.
Lyra's a troll. That's what we're learning from this.
I guess he just really wants that. There we go. Okay, 5th Dragon necessary.
Look, when you can finish the game on fire, if NBA Jam told you anything,
He's
this
on
is what
fire.
you do.
That's true. It's a good point, Papa Smith. It's the NBA Jam finish. They wanted to be on fire, and there it is. We're all tied up 1-1. Afreeca Freecs take game 2.
Afreeca, their control of Dragon from very early in the game set the tone. CJ, they love the delay style with Ezreal, but when you're talking about a pre-30-minute 5th Dragon that you're only just about in the kind of realm of contesting, the low of averages says you're probably going to lose. As you mentioned, the stats suggested we were going to a game 3, and it all came together. We're going to go to a game 3.
Yep, I knew it. Never doubt the Doa prophecies, man.
The Doa prophecy.
The Doa Sea Scrolls. I don't know. I haven't been writing on any scrolls, and I haven't been near the sea lately, but I'll take this one.
We saw a sea change from CJ game 1. That was back to the same old CJ.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is CJ, you know, they kind of got ahead in that first game because of a weird Rift Herald fight. So you have to wonder, when game 3 rolls around, you know, who's going to have the edge? Right now it's looking like Afreeca, but anything can happen in this best of 3, I think.
We've definitely seen that. It's been a bizarre one, a bit of a head scratcher. CJ, back to old CJ this game, so gonna have to wait for the draft to see if they can change any of those problems for game 3.
Yeah, that's right. So when we come back, an epic final game between CJ Entus and the Afreeca Freecs. We'll see you then.